Hi, I'm Andrea Delorey, the Director of Education at the nonprofit organization No Barriers, where our mission is to unleash the potential of the human spirit. And today I'll be telling you a little bit about how we bring that mission to life across the organization. And then I'll be focusing in specifically on our work with educators and students. You'll be learning about the No Barriers educational model, which is called the No Barriers Life. You will see some examples of curricula and programs that are designed through that model. And you'll also hear from some real life educators and students who are part of the No Barriers community. Finally, if you are not already a member of the No Barriers educator community, I will be inviting you to join. And that is a platform where you can get free access to No Barriers curricula and resources that you can start using right away. I want to start by introducing you to one of our organization's co-founders, Eric Weinmeier, who is an adventurer who is also blind.
Hi, my name is Eric Weinmeier. I'm an adventurer. I've climbed Mount Everest and the Seven Summits, the tallest peak in every continent. I've kayaked the Grand Canyon, and I happen to be blind. And I can tell you it's been a struggle to live what I call a no barriers life, to define it, to push the parameters of what it can mean. And part of the equation of that life is understanding this process of growth that we're all striving for. To dive into that experience and illuminate those elements, those universal elements that we have to harness along the way, like waypoints on a trail, like holds on a rock face, that lead us forward towards change, towards growth, towards transformation. And that unexplored terrain between those safe, dark places that we find ourselves in and the summit is a map. It's a far grittier, messier map than we're led to believe, with more flailing and bleeding along the way. But there is a way forward. That map is what we call No Barriers.
So you heard Eric talk about the No Barriers life and how it's a map that we can live our lives by in ways that will lead us forward toward change, growth, and transformation. And all that we do at No Barriers is designed through this unique No Barriers life model, which is made up of 7 elements that were developed based on our years of work focused on people's experiences with adversity and resilience. These 7 elements, which are featured in our organization's best-selling book called What's Within You, teach us that despite the barriers that each of us face, we can learn how to work through those barriers and unleash the best in ourselves and in the world. No Barriers has now served tens of thousands of individuals through a variety of programming. Everything from backcountry and international expeditions to online communities and courses to events that bring diverse populations together for a common experience that will push comfort zones and open up all kinds of new possibilities. So these programs bring the mission of unleashing the potential of the human spirit to life. And when the global pandemic hit, we had to pause in-person programming, which became an opportunity to expand even more ways that we engage people virtually and through online resources. We target some specific populations shown here, but we believe our message applies to anyone who faces barriers and wants to live their best life. Much of No Barriers work over the years has been with students and educators because unleashing the potential of youth and supporting educators is really important work. Because educators are uniquely positioned to connect students to meaningful purpose and to help them develop a mindset and skill set for working through barriers, we prioritize supporting educators. Of course, we know that if educators do this work, then students will be able to more successfully navigate their own lives while also being equipped to make a positive difference in communities and in the lives of others. As an example, No Barriers runs a program each year called the Global Impact Challenge, which challenges teams of students to address a global issue at the local level with a focus on diversity and inclusion, and providing funding for winning teams to implement their ideas. And along the way, throughout the program, students develop skills through the 7 elements of the No Barriers Life framework. And so I'd like for you to hear what a few teachers who have participated in the Global Impact Challenge have to say about the impact of the program on their students.
The solution my students came up with in the project was to create a mental health and wellness curriculum for teens, written by teens, delivered by teens.
When you open a door for children to speak, man, they're gonna tell you. And it's profound, it's wise, but most of all, I think it's important because we're saying it's okay to talk about all this stuff and talk about what discrimination looks like. What barriers are we facing?
Everything that we've done in a school setting is typically teachers telling students what they need to be doing. But this project is all about students observing and seeing what challenges and what barriers they have. What's within you is stronger than what's in your way. How can you ever forget that quote, that motto, that saying? Because isn't that what we all want to do as teachers, is to break down these barriers?
Personally watching these children step into their power and be who they are and be seen by others, I just think we need more of that. A lot of these kids don't have it easy.
Today's youth are facing such monumental social and emotional challenges, and without the right tools, these challenges can become huge roadblocks that inhibit growth. Now let's hear from some youth who have participated in the Global Impact Challenge. This team of young men is from the Shawano Center in Michigan, and their project focused on telling their own authentic stories while also providing positive opportunities for young people who have been incarcerated. Here's a sample from their project submission.
Just try to make a change. That's what we trying to do. It's 5 people in our group. We all come from different backgrounds. We came up with a little group name called Diverse Survivors, because we all that been through the struggle. We all standing a date after everything we've been through. We just trying to all come together right now and make a change in other people's lives who go through the same thing we've been through. Our voices, our choices. Meaning, it's us. We the only ones who can tell our story like this. Can't nobody else tell it from our point of view.
If you try to speak up, somebody gonna hear you. If you try to make a change, somebody gonna see it. Don't give up.
Let's try to help our community out. Let's try to help the younger kids have a better future and not go down the same road as everybody else. Not repeating the same cycle. Let's try to break that chain, try to do something different.
We help the community by just giving them knowledge on what's leading to young youth to get locked up. A lot of people don't even have knowledge on that topic. That probably never even crossed a lot of people's minds, so they wouldn't know nothing about it. If you serious, if you treat your community, with respect, pride, get trust from your community, it's just gonna open up a whole new world that you never even knew.
I think the exposure to opportunities help people, because if you was never if you exposed to negative, you're gonna do negative. If you exposed to something positive for once in a while, you're gonna want to. You get a little taste of it, you're gonna want to do it again. You want to get more into that positive. So being exposed to opportunities is gonna help. It's gonna help a lot. Really. We didn't being at Shawano Centers, No Barrier Group, it opened up so many opportunities for us. Cause we're not even just telling our stories and whatnot. We actually getting different viewpoints of different people and how to help different people. So it opened up a lot of opportunities for us. I started going to the animal shelter. I love pit bulls. I started going. I'm enjoying myself. I don't got to look on my shoulder. I ain't got to worry about me doing something negative. That's something I enjoy, and that's something I hope I can continue doing.
Both in and out of school, youth are honing their self-regulation and emotional management skills as they build social connections and learn how to develop relationships. They're forming their mindsets. They're developing strategies for how to deal with obstacles. And they're also exploring their passions and their interests. All of this means that they are consistently being offered the chance to stretch their comfort zones, which provides a huge opportunity for social and emotional learning and growth. The No Barriers Life supports this opportunity by giving youth a framework for developing a vision, reaching out of their comfort zone, being able to pioneer through challenges and form a rope team of people around them. It also supports them to have the mindset to harness adversity in their lives, as well as to take the time to pause and reflect and have gratitude. It also gives youth the opportunities to go out and elevate, to give their best back to the world. And I want to share another program in action with you. This time you're going to see some youth directly engaged in one of our experiential programs out in the field. This is a group of students who are in the foster care system from Florida.
The first day, we came up with these common words that everyone wanted out of this trip. One of the girls wrote them on the flag. It was our contract for the trip.
You're not only writing it down, you're saying to yourself and to the people around you, I'm willing to do this, so let's do it.
We are right now in Canyon de Chelly National Monument.
That was the first hike that I have ever did. You don't have that in Florida.
Pass it on.
We never get to experience all this because we don't have any phones right now. Everybody is talking more, interacting more, and I think it's really cool. It brings people together.
I never thought it would be this beautiful.
Most of these kids have never really had a chance to be kids. And this gives them an opportunity to not worry about makeup, not worry about what they're wearing, not worry about their phones, and they just get to get out there and have fun.
A lot of foster kids, they can't afford different things that other people can. We don't really have our parents to lean on and help us, support us to go on a trip.
It's amazing that there's awesome people out there who would give scholarships. It may be really small to somebody, but it is extremely big to people like myself in the system to be given the opportunity to go on a trip like this.
I learned a lot here, and when I go home, I think it'll be completely different. I was able to climb up this huge obstacle that was mine, which was the canyon. So when I go back home, why can't I do the same thing with whatever problems I'm having at home?
And here's another example of a Learning Afar program, this time with a group of students from Oakland, California.
The population of our school is over 94% free reduced lunch and 100% students of color. The majority of our students do not otherwise have the opportunity to travel, so the purpose of this trip is to give them an experience they wouldn't otherwise have.
I've never been inside an airplane. I want to step up to the challenge and go all the way to Asia.
They did a lot of new things, so they tried the spiders, they tried the frog, they went to places, talked to kids.
We got to exchange cultures and learn about each other.
You don't really need to speak the same language to have fun and laugh.
this might be the only time I come to Cambodia, so I'm just really trying to taste the foods that I probably won't taste and talk to people that have so much different life than I do back in the United States.
The history of Cambodia, like I've studied it at school, but it's a different feeling actually seeing it with your own eyes and living it in the moment. It's really impactful.
Were it not for this, I probably would have never traveled outside the country. My family just can't afford it.
Kids in my community don't have really much opportunities, and programs like these will give students a really deep connection to the outside world.
It's really eye-opening to visit another country, especially one so different from the one we're coming from. It's inspired me to help out countries like this and give access to education and technology. Like, I want to be a part of that now.
I'm going to be more open for more experiences back in the United States, not just eating spiders.
I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all of you guys. You participated in everything. You stepped out of your comfort zones every single day. So, thank you.
All good things in life come from stretching your comfort zone. So if they learn how to do that now, it just opens up so many more possibilities to them as they get older.
As much as we would love for every student to be able to go on a backcountry or international expedition, we know that we need to support teachers with the challenge of having limited time in the classroom for social and emotional learning. So No Barriers has expanded the ways we engage educators and students to make that limited time impactful. This includes resources to use with students, and it also includes ways to engage educators for their own development. And all of these resources are available through the No Barriers Educator community, which is an online platform where everything can be accessed in one place. Here are some examples of curricula and courses for use with students, such as the Ignite curriculum, focused on the No Barriers Life element of vision, short lessons such as the one you see here using an original short animated film called Ren, and a more extensive online course focused on resilience called Bounce. We also offer a classroom kit of materials for creating a No Barriers learning environment, as well as a short weekly lesson called the No Barriers 9, which is a 9-minute lesson designed to develop social and emotional skills in short chunks of time. Now let's take a deeper dive into the Bounce course, which supports youth to develop resilience so that they can bounce back from challenges and live their most fulfilling, happiest lives. This is what the Bounce course looks like when you access it through the No Barriers Educator community and get to our online learning platform. Bounce is made up of 15 sessions, each last about 30 minutes. You can see we provide an educator guide here, and then each of the sessions is listed here on the left. And so we focus on different areas of skills that help students to develop their resilience. So things like self-identity, motivation, comfort zones, mindset. We're going to have a little sample here of session 8, problem solving and innovation. When I open that up, you see we always start with an intro from our course guide. You'll see a sample of that video in just a moment. We provide a PDF document that is an overview of the whole lesson, of its objectives, of all of the content and activities that will take place in the lesson. This is what the session overview looks like. And then we get into our inspirational stories and role models. In this case, we feature Mandy Harvey, who is a deaf jazz vocalist who was a finalist on America's Got Talent. And in this case, Mandy is actually leading the activity. Every session includes an activity that will get kids off the screen and doing something hands-on. We provide a document or a link to information related to completing that activity, as well as discussion prompts, and then a session wrap-up back with the course guide. And here are some samples of the videos from this session.
Hey everybody, welcome back to No Barriers Bounds. We are on session 8, which means we are pretty much right smack dab in the middle of this experience. So I hope that you are gaining confidence and learning more about yourself and starting to feel a little bit more resilient and feel like you have the tools to break through any barrier. So with that said, I do want to let you know we're still going to be exploring the No Barriers Life element, Pioneer. So we're going to be talking still about innovating through challenges and solving problems creatively and everything along those lines. And experience working through problems and challenges gives you the confidence and the tools to work through other challenges that might be in your way in your future.
In today's activity, we're going to be working on our innovation and problem-solving skills, or pioneering. As you saw in my video, I've had to be very innovative with my music after losing my hearing. I use visual tuners to be able to see what I'm singing so that I know that I'm correct even without being able to hear myself, or feeling the vibration so that I can sing and play in time with the rest of the band on stage. When we think about problems, we know that some problems are very simple, but other problems take a lot more time and effort, trial and error, before we solve them and before we succeed. You have to be willing to be creative.
It is also our goal to inspire educators, so we give them the opportunity for their own development through mini courses, events with special guests, the No Barriers podcast, and a private Facebook group where educators can share inspiration and ideas. Okay, so what is the impact of the No Barriers Life framework and the curricula and programs that use it? Here's a little bit about how we measure the impact of No Barriers programs. You can see some examples of impact data here. We work with faculty at Brigham Young University who are experts in experience design and measurement to evaluate impact on participants through the No Barriers Life model. We use a combination of a retrospective pretest method in a standard program survey, and we also do interviews, debrief sessions, and create customized surveys to gather our data with results that consistently demonstrate significant growth in participants. Here are some examples of the types of things that educators and students say about learning with no barriers. One educator says, "I really appreciate the No Barriers process that has well-defined steps. The approach will help me be more thoughtful and creative while addressing problems in the future with my students." And a student shares, "I feel motivated to do more and like I have more courage to break through my barriers." My hope is that as you've learned more about the work of No Barriers today, you will join us to break through barriers, unleash potential, and have a positive impact on the world. Just go to the No Barriers website at www.nobarriersusa.org. Please do also feel free to contact me directly if you would like to chat about our work or if you have questions. Thanks so much for joining me today to learn about No Barriers and our educational model.